here with a Dr. Abbie Acupuncture, and she is going to tell us some marvellous things that we can do to our face. Dr. Abbie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for letting us be here today. Now, tell me all about you and your journey and what you do.
Where do we start? Like last week?
Start at the beginning.
The beginning. So initially I trained in a naturopathy background. So initially I was working in New Zealand in a medical centre using a lot of natural therapies and that kind of background to help people come to wellness, because prior to that I was working in corporate accounting. Soul destroying, but great fashion.
You loved your job?
No. No. I thought I liked the corporate world, but I think I just liked the pseudo respect that you get having a corporate job, and the pseudo, you can see the ladder and succession of climbing to a career and success and what the definitions of that were. But mainly I probably just liked shoes and fashion.
Yeah.
Corporate outfits, like, you know
what, that is something I think that's
power dressing.
Nice,
Yeah.
know? Getting on the train and going into the city in my high heels.
Yeah.
I could never do that now.
Well, I still.
You are always very stylish. I must admit, you're very, very stylish.
I won't lie, I put a lot of effort into it.
I love it.
But then on my days off, I'm fucked if I can wash my hair, do my makeup, wear a bra. I get really indignant at it all. So like,
my Ugg boots.
I'm not quite that far yet.
I was there a long time ago.
I haven't made the transition to Ugg. I have a lot of reserve judgment. So I've got my sequin slippers and
come to my house.
or I go up to the cafe with track pants on top of my pajamas. Nobody knows. They might, but they don't say anything. So I come from that, and I was a natural therapist in a medical centre for a while, and my background of nature is I'm a skeptic and really competitive. And I'm not competitive against other people, I'm just internally competitive. It's a self-drive. So before everyone thinks I'm out there cutting other people down, I'm not. I'm more like I'm not engaging in the external competition, because I need to prove to myself.
Yeah.
So working in the medical centre, and there was an acupuncturist there, and she was picking up diabetes before the tests, and she was picking up cancer before some of the symptoms. And I was like, how the fuck are you doing this? Like, amazed, but also like, okay, why am I not getting quite the same specific diagnosis as you are? And why am I feeling like I'm lagging behind in the picking up of health conditions? And then, you know, we obviously became really good friends, because it's quite a symbiosis relationship between naturopath and Chinese medicine and the nurses we were working with. And also from my perspective is I hate selling stuff. And that kind of background, here's a supplement, and they're fantastic supplements, but if people don't take them, they're not going to get the effect long term, you know. And lots of people don't want to change their lifestyle because it's made them comfortable and it's their identity. So anyway, she was treating all these things and people walking away just radiant, and I watched her do a treatment on a new mum that we'd both been treating, and I watched her, she had 4 babies, and I watched her shrink her abdomen by an inch in this session, and I just like lost my motherfucking mind. I think my jaw fell off my face.
Crazy.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it's not fair. And you know, like, she obviously dealt with a few other things in the system, and I just kind of walked away like, okay, what have I got? I've got liver inhibitors, I've got digestion increasing, but I haven't seen that before. And then a couple of weeks later, I watched her do a facelift, and I literally saw tightening occur in front of my eyes. And I just thought, oh, fuck this. Like, I'm in. Like, I don't have to sacrifice my ethics for my vanity.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I'm super, super vain, but I'm female, we've got pressures. Self-image is a part of, you know, your self-care to a certain extent.
Of course.
I'm not saying
TV, with magazines.
Totally, but because this was at the time when all naturopaths were represented by, I can't remember her name at the moment, and she basically lived in a bush as a wild woman, living off mushrooms and stuff, but she looked like she had buttery leather skin, and she was like the face of naturopathy at the time, and I was like, I've just given up clinic, and I'm dealing with withdrawals. So it was this kind of change of mentality. So then I moved to Australia and trained in Melbourne at one of the best colleges for acupuncture. There was a lot of infusion of Chinese teachers, and I trained in Guangzhou, did my internship in China. Best and worst experience of my life. I tried to arrange everyone to go and observe, and instead it was just me by myself.
Hello.
The only white girl in China. I think in 3 months I saw 2 white people.
Wow.
Yeah, great, because they thought I was part of a Hong Kong internship, so I got dragged in with all the other runts. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week, but then I could see like how far you can push this medicine. I was watching them treat diabetes with implantation therapy. So they don't change their home life, they just leave a fibre in their acupuncture point, stimulated for 10 days non-stop. So the constant chi is being manipulated to improve their wellness. Like insane things that you saw in conjunction with Western medicine.
Wow.
Yeah, and so when I was in China, I ate all of the things. And I'm not even complaining. I was just like, I didn't quite understand the concept of yum cha and being white girl. I didn't understand the concept of that they keep bringing out more platters. I thought, yeah, dinner, eat it all, because I don't know when the next one's coming. I can't.
That's what they do.
I can't translate to ask for more. So, and then when the next food comes up, I'll eat that one too. Yeah, about 8 kilos in a fortnight. It was good times.
Oh, that's it's like a record.
Oh, it was,
yay! You know what? You were really happy though, so it doesn't matter.
Look, I was eating instead of sightseeing. It was like, that's fine. I need anyway. But when I come back to Australia, my mentor, who I'm so lucky to have, she's 4th generation practitioner, and it was her grandfather that started the hospital that I trained at.
Wow.
And her father is still the administrator, and she got Purple Hearts against the SARS epidemic for working in edict. So like, I've got a pretty fucking intense mentor. When I come back, she's like, you got fat.
Oh,
and I was like,
that's nice. Oh, yeah. Don't beating around the bush.
Ooh, it's a fact, but you don't say that to white girls. And so anyway, so she's like, oh, we'll obviously treat you for weight loss while we're here. And I was like, oh, great.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you know, and I'm just thinking, go back to whatever. My personal journey has always been, I fucking hate my gut. No matter how gaunt I am or whatever, my dysmorphia tells me I look pregnant and fat. So I could be underweight and still tell myself, or because it is a pooch. I'm not the abdomen type, body type. And so I remember complaining to her, like, you know, it wouldn't be great if I could have, you know, rock star abs.
Just a little six pack.
And I was just joking. And then after 3 months of treatment, my constitution changed. So, like, I'm like in my bikini. I'm heavy, so I've probably been in a while, but I'm like, flat abs feel fucking great.
Wow.
I don't have a six pack.
And that's all from acupuncture.
And some herbs as well. I only mildly changed my diet.
Wow.
But what came from that was the minute I stopped thinking about constantly having to suck in my gut, because that was my 10% pain, my relationships around me changed.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not being so self-focused on your own criticism, that you're not looking for criticism or perceived criticism from others. So then you are lighter in nature, you are more friendly or engaging, or I find that if you're not using that 10% of your brain to be negative, you're using it to be creative or giving or self-exploratory. There's just the world opens up, and it seems frivolous. Sure, call it frivolous, but it still changes people. Like, you get your hair washed or dyed or blow waved, and like, you're fucking Beyonce. Like, you smile at more people. You might get a job interview. Like, you just
feel good.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not hurting anybody else or changing anything. It's not changing who you are. It's changing your focus. So when that kind of made a pinnacle moment for me, was because I'd always been really interested in the cosmetic, because being skeptic, that's a line I can measure for difference. So pain I can treat, but I can't necessarily measure that. You know, and lots of people forget when they get well, they forget the little shit. So every week you might be getting rid of something little, but in their mind, because there's one clinical focus, they're not seeing the improvement. So my baby ego's a bit like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Whereas my ego, when it comes to a line, I can measure that motherfucking line changing. I can photograph that line. I can sit there and prove to myself that the texture has changed, or, you know, like women who have been struggling post babies, or have thyroid conditions, and we just tuck their chin in and they feel like they've lost 5 kilos. Like,
and explain what you mean by tuck your chin.
Oh,
so a little
they
bit.
do this. Constant.
Let's just take a few steps back. The most interesting and fascinating reason why I wanted to interview you was because of cosmetic acupuncture. So I've had Botox since I was 23 with a modelling agency, and they said to me, at 23 you need Botox, and I've had it ever since. Now, living a more toxic-free life, it's very challenging to inject your face with Botox. Not to say I'll never do it again, but you know, at the moment, I came across you, who does cosmetic acupuncture, which is essentially, where's our sign?
Natural Botox.
Natural Botox.
Yeah, so
please explain this. It's fascinating.
Yeah, so I love it because it's obviously skeptic free.
Yes.
Well, it's skeptic provable. But I love the fact that you don't have to sacrifice your ethics. So what we're working on is we're working on systems that display on your face. So as opposed to, say, skin needling, which is still a really good treatment course, as opposed to skin needling, how I operate is we work on your constitution. So different health systems in Chinese medicine manifest in different ways. So we always take your pulse and your tongue, but I've trained in a lot of facial diagnosis reading. So different lines on the face mean different things or different health systems. So you've got your frustration lines, your
to my face.
Initially off the cuff, you're a philosopher.
Ooh,
so
okay.
You've got the lines across the top, and a philosopher in nature is either creating problems to worry about them.
I'm a warrior.
Yeah, you're sitting there thinking, how can I save the world, when really
I'm pretty much,
the main object that you need to focus on is what's for breakfast. But it's that indecisiveness, because there's constant looking at this, that, and whether or not it comes from a lack of trust underneath, because you've got a little bit of darkening.
Crow's feet, yeah.
No, not the crow's feet. Crow's feet is something different. The darkening that's starting to happen under your eyes is from an adrenal fatigue.
Really?
Or we call it superwoman syndrome. Just pushing the envelope all the time. Yeah, so
I think that's called being a mum.
Yeah, and there are some people, there's definitely that aspect, and then some people that are just driven beyond what their body tells them to stop. And so that combined with the lines, we say it's a bit of a kidney chi shu with a bit of a spleen chi deficiency, and a little bit of liver stagnation. And so that's quite a generic diagnosis, but as we would delve deeper in your pulse, I'm pretty sure it would support some of those.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so like if we're working on these types of lines that go horizontally, when we say pi chi system or spleen chi system, we're talking about the Chinese system of it, not the literal organ. It may correlate to some of the organ's functions, but Chinese have never looked at it that way. They've discovered the systems, and as Western medicine and science have progressed, we've been able to find correlations to literal and metaphysical. So it's good that way. So if we're working on something like this, I would be going, your digestion's not your strength either. Digestion
no, it's not.
would definitely be impacted.
100%. My digestion's horrible, and I've been working on that for years.
Yeah, and digestion and worrying is completely interrelated. Wow. So the more you worry, the worse your digestion becomes. The worse your digestion is, the more difficult it is to contain your thoughts. Now we're seeing in all the studies, recent studies, that gut bacteria completely pertains to your mental health agility.
Wow.
So I'm like, I already knew this.
So does that mean that the more lines you have, it's related to mental health?
From a Chinese perspective, we'd say 5% yes.
Wow.
So from a Chinese perspective, your personality or your soul is divided into 5 different aspects. So we just don't see your mental health as one component. We see the mental health. Yeah, because there's your mental health of can you sleep, your mental health of are you actually too happy, because we see that not okay as well. Mental health of are you able to perceive the world correctly, mental health of are you depressed, mental health of are you able to maintain relationships. We can't categorize it as just mental health. We are always balancing aspects of it. So the beautiful thing about beautiful, wait for the pun. The beautiful thing about cosmetic acupuncture is most of the points that I'm working on are psychological based.
Absolutely.
So while we're literally making you look better, I am literally making you feel better. Yeah, and I like that. I get a lot of joy out of that internally. So I can be doing what I'm doing, but I don't have to tell you that secretly behind the scenes. I'm like, fucking pump that serotonin. Getting rid of all the cortisol, overstimulus, and negative feedback systems. So
it's incredible.
Yeah, and also if you get these lines, you're obviously concentrating a lot, whether it be, what I say is people are listening with their forehead. So they're listening to people.
Yep.
Or they're looking at the computer with their forehead. So again, you're using all your mental agility to digest and ruminate what your incoming factors are.
Yeah.
So to be really uncouth and a little bit stereotypical, for example, Asian type skin never really ages the same way as Caucasians. So there's the stereotype of an Asian woman doesn't age until she's 70 and it all just suddenly she's 90. They don't use their facial body language the way Caucasians do.
Wow.
Asians are more quick to let out their emotions and use their body language or use their words, there's a lot changing there, and whereas Caucasians tend not to. And so we're British inherently by descent, and Irish British is by, so a lot of inflections indicators to other people of our body language, what we want to happen. So for example, if you're constantly using these muscles to frown, or when you're frustrated, I would go back and go, okay, why are you constantly frustrated? Why are you constantly stuck on ruminating an idea?
And what's the deeper issue?
Totally. So then if I just go, okay, let's strengthen that system so that you're not stuck in that loop. Yeah. So to stop you continually fucking furrowing and undoing my work at the muscle and skin level, then you're not going to frown for longer. So then the cosmetic acupuncture will hold for longer, because there is a degree of maintenance. However, done properly, and if we get your health system up and running and get your stress resilience to a great level, you should be able to look after yourself. You shouldn't need me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but my main clinic aim is to get the fuck rid of everyone.
Yeah,
Quick, I get rid of you, the better it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you happy inside, because you
totally.
can see that they're walking away with happiness.
And in my brain, if I wouldn't want to come back, why would you?
Yeah.
And if I don't like taking supplements. I don't enjoy constantly going back every 5 days for something. I'm just like, it doesn't feel congruent. So like, off you go.
So this is acupuncture, which we're gonna work through the progress. So I'm gonna start soon, and we're gonna do 6 sessions of acupuncture, and we're gonna do before and afters.
Sure.
And I'm gonna do whatever you tell me to do.
All the homework.
All the homework, and I'm gonna be very accountable to you.
Like everybody.
And you do message me on Instagram to make sure. So I'm very accountable.
You mean stalk on Instagram? Stalk most of my clients.
Well, yes, something like that. But what is like 3 things people could start doing right now? So if they can't get acupuncture, or they're not ready to get acupuncture, what's just 3 things that they can start doing for their body, their mind, internally?
I'm going to go from Chinese side rather than beautician side.
Where's this little?
Gua sha.
Gua sha, yes.
Gua sha. So a jade gua sha tool is probably the best thing as far as at-home maintenance. It's a scraping technique.
Do it on my face.
So I'm going to scrape. We'll turn your head that way so people can see. Scraping up into the hairline, getting lots of, see, nice and rosiness along the jawline, down the neck. And what you're doing with this is you're encouraging lymphatic flow, and then you're encouraging a lot of blood flow to the skin tissue. And at a muscular level, you're creating a little bit of trauma, so that the elastin and collagen, oh look, you are getting red, so that, just stand up. So the elastin and collagen is being stimulated at a lower level, so as the skin sloughs off, it is strengthening the skin tone as it comes up. So the more lymphatic work that you get going on in your skin and underneath your faces, because you think about it, when was the last time you had a face massage? Whereas when your body hurts, you get it all the time.
Exactly.
This is kind of the best way at home for maintaining the glow, for maintaining tightness, for, you're just a bit red. Well, no, slight raise on that eyebrow. I don't know if you can feel the buzz.
I can see, they're over there.
Sorry.
So just from this little tool,
from daily use, you're clearing all the circulation lymphatic to make your skin brighter. And then that's increasing your blood flow in your skin, so it's helping to get rid of any kind of impurities under the surface.
And for how long? Because I'm one of these people who get really excited and go home and scrape my
so,
face for like 2 hours.
So honestly, it's a 60-second routine.
Okay.
It could be longer,
yeah.
But I'm like, I run a lot of workshops training people how to use these, and webinars showing people how to use these at home, because this is your healthcare now. But if I'm honest, I do mine in the car on the way to work. So fuck, I sell skincare. I need to look good, everything. But lots of my clients have found, they call it a wrinkle eraser. I'm not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say it, but they have been finding that it's reducing the tension held in the lines.
By using it every single day.
Most days, yeah. So you're going to get it, and you're going to go 6 weeks non-stop. And then you'll get to 2 months and be like, I'll do it every couple of times a week.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's totally fine, and then you get back into it again. But I used to use porcelain spoon initially, and it wasn't until I changed to jade that people started noticing. I was like, oh fuck yeah. Wow. You want the notice. You want people to see the difference. And then for most of my clients, this is the way to maintain their face being held. Maybe not a lot of the tiny lines, but the main muscular areas, because you're using the scalp as well to lift and hold, and you're invigorating collagen just by microtrauma. So cheap, easy, no subscription.
Wow, that is amazing.
This is probably my do-all, because a lot of people talk about jade rolling, but I'm like, jade rolling looks great on Instagram, but this shit works.
So what's this called?
Gua sha, G-U-A-S-H-A, but you want jade gua sha. So that's.
And you sell these?
I sell these. Yes,
Yes.
they are great. These are my babies.
Ooh.
I love these the most.
I have one, and I've started using it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so number
easy.
2, what else?
Number 2 would be bone broth for women, and that can be quite controversial if you're going into the dietary side of life. But bone broth is warm, so Chinese medicine love it because it's a soup and it invigorates your digestion. It's full of fermentation, so it's even better for gut bacteria, bowel movements and that type of stuff. From a Chinese perspective, it's literally blood. We say blood-based products invigorate your blood, which is a system within Chinese medicine, which makes you feel safe, satiety. It helps women feel less anxious, especially if you can't fall asleep easily at night or you're constantly on the go. Your body is using more magnesium and calcium in your body, especially when it comes to menstruation or balancing hormones. All that has an effect on everything else. So I find bone broth is quick, easy, simple. Ingest it, great collagen to be absorbed into the body. Like collagen doesn't just go on your face, it also goes into your joints. So that's a really easy, cheap, effective.
For someone like me that's a vegetarian.
Yes, there are vegetarian option bone broths.
Good.
So they're more based on reishi mushrooms.
Yeah.
They help. I don't find them as effective.
So you think bone broth is
simple, easy, nourishing, especially for iron, anemia and premenstrual, because you need to build literal blood volume to menstruate.
It's good for people to just do their research on that one.
Do your own research, but from a Chinese prescription, well, like actually it's pretty beautiful. Or the other thing you can add to your reishi mushroom type broth is a lot of seaweed and other iodine type rich foods.
Interesting.
But again, we're coming from a system of like treats like, and our Western diet has changed so much that I'm referring to a 4,000-year-old dietary system. So there's I'm a little bit old school there. Yeah, but I'm sticking to where my degree taught me.
Perfect.
And then the third thing that I would say is, if you're not going to be coming in seeing me, get yourself a hyaluronic acid. Like hyaluronic acid from the beauty company Abnormal Beauty Co.
Do we have one here?
I've got one on my desk over here. Look, because I'm Chinese, I'm super fucking tight.
Good.
So
Most people are.
This is vegan orientated, and it is just, I'm in love with it, and I'm converting all my clients to it. It's $12 a bottle, and it's instant hydration, instant plumping.
Vegan.
I haven't had anyone have any adverse effects to it, and hyaluronic acid's role in the cell is to open up the cell to be permeable, to flush it full of hydration.
Wow.
So you're literally plumping.
And so
It's
just
beautiful.
like one drop over the face every day?
Yeah, or twice a day, or when you feel like it. If you put too much on, it makes it look like your skin's peeling. So you know you've overdone it.
Yeah.
But that in the day or at night's great. Or I've got hydration masks that I love, which come from the hospital that I trained at. But as far as just at home care, a mask is really good. Dermal rolling can help depending on your skin quality. I just think that's easy. It's easy, any age, any skin type. The only thing I'd recommend is, because it opens the cell to infuse with hydration, it will literally absorb whatever you put on your skin next. So I don't recommend putting it on and while it's still moist, putting on your makeup.
Yeah.
Because I've had
nighttime.
Well, no, daytime. Just let it dry. I've had clients put their powder straight on top and like, I've got a rash. I'm like, well, you probably absorbed your makeup. Yeah. So I'm in love with that, and I talk about that a lot, just because it's easy and accessible and reasonably priced. Like everything needs to be achievable.
It does, absolutely. So this and bone broth, and you're ready to go.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So Dr. Abbie Acupuncture, I just want to acknowledge you and thank you. You
My
are
pleasure.
just phenomenal. You're fascinating to me, and I could talk to you all day. I find it absolutely fascinating. So yeah, we're going to do a little before and after for acupuncture, and
See the results.
See the results, and let's get this face back into order. Got some lines here, lines up here.
But they're lessons.
Yeah.
The thing that I advocate to most
I'm
people is,
happy.
well, not just that, but like if you got a line from a shitty ex-boyfriend, there's a reason he's your ex-boyfriend, and you don't really want to get rid of the lesson learned.
I've got plenty of things.
You know, like there's certain lines in the face that I think to a certain extent, because media has glamorized. Like if I had a client in today who's a singer, she's 60, and she says, you know, I'm in a sexist ageist industry. And I'm like, actually, yeah, it's pummeled everywhere to be perfect. Whereas no one really looks at George Clooney and goes, oh, his lines are ugly. Like, they really show your character and depth of where you've been. So part of the journey is glamorizing what you've been through and making sure that we don't necessarily eradicate your personality.
And you don't, the idea is not to erase all of the lines on your face.
And I actually am not able to.
Yeah.
I'm actually not able to.
But it's to bring your soul out onto your face.
To bring what we call the shen to reflect on your face. So we say the shen is a aspect of the personality that resides in, say, the shin or the heart system. And so when your heart is happy and your body is balanced, your soul feels free to shine out of your face and out of your eyeballs. Amazing. So what we're really doing is polishing this back so that the soul can come out the eyes again. So lots of people have huge change in their life. So it's pretty phenomenal.
I'm really excited. Well, Dr. Abbie, I want to acknowledge you. Thank you so much for coming in today. And you are just brilliant.
Cool. Can't wait to start it.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.